There's a lingering question in the minds of many Filipinos, especially those closely watching our defense buildup. Why is the Philippine Air Force buying more FA-50 light fighters? Shouldn't we be acquiring real multi-role fighters like the F-16 or the Gripen to defend our skies? For years, this debate has echoed through military forums, think tanks, and even the halls of Congress. And now, with a new 40 billion peso contract signed behind closed doors in Camp Aguinaldo, the question becomes even more urgent. Welcome to Pinoy Guard. In this episode of Pinoy Guard, we will break down why doubts about the FA-50 are valid, but incomplete, what role it plays in our air defense strategy, and how this new acquisition supports, not replaces, the future MRF project. Stay with us as we trace the full picture, from skepticism to strategy, from contract signing to combat readiness, because this isn't just about buying aircraft. This is about shaping the future of Philippine air power. Before we continue our discussion, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Pinoy Guard, and hit the notification bell. Every click supports truth and sovereignty in Southeast Asia. Segment 1. The FA-50 debate and the multi-role fighter obsession. The FA-50 is not new to the Philippines. Since 2015, the Air Force has operated 12 of these Korean-built light fighters, using them for patrols, strikes, and training. But critics have long claimed they're just trainers with missiles. The logic goes like this. If China has J-16s, J-20 stealth fighters, and carrier-borne jets, what are we doing with aircraft that can't even match an F-16 in capability? It's a fair question on paper. But reality on the ground and in the skies is much more complicated. The FA-50s have performed reliably. They've flown over 10,000 hours in Philippine service. They've conducted maritime patrols, bombed terrorist positions in Marawi, and participated in international exercises with the United States and South Korea. They aren't toys. They are combat-proven platforms in the Philippine context. So why are we buying 12 more? And why now? To answer that, we have to understand one thing. The FA-50 isn't just an aircraft. It's a transition platform, a stepping stone from a defenseless past to a self-reliant future. Segment 2. Doctrine First, Building an Air Force from Scratch. In 2005, the Philippine Air Force retired its last F-5 Freedom fighters. That decision left the country with no supersonic capability, no modern air-to-air doctrine, and no trained pilots for air superiority. We essentially had to start from zero. Enter the FA-50. With its supersonic performance, radar-guided weapon capability, twin-seat training configuration compatibility with Western and Korean munitions. It became the ideal platform to rebuild institutional knowledge. For nearly a decade, the FA-50 has taught a new generation of Filipino pilots how to conduct high-speed intercepts, deliver precision-guided bombs, train with allies using Link 16 data-sharing fly joint air-ground missions in real-world environments. You don't jump straight from no fighters to fifth-generation stealth jets. That's not how force development works. You train, you learn, you build doctrine, and you grow. This new batch of 12 FA-50s is not a substitute for MRFs, it's a preparation for them. Segment 3. Why not MRFs now? The budget and timeline problem. Let's talk numbers. The F-16 Block 70 or the Gripen C/D costs anywhere between 5 to 7 billion per aircraft. Multiply that by 12, add infrastructure, pilot training, spare parts, and weapons, and you're easily over 100 billion pesos. The current FA-50 deal? Around US $700 million or 40 billion. That's less than half the price of an equivalent MRF deal for aircraft that can still fly, fight, and train immediately. And here's the kicker. These FA-50s can be delivered faster. Train crews already exist. Logistics are already in place. With tensions in the West Philippine Sea growing every month, the Philippine Air Force cannot afford to wait 5 more years for MRFs that might still be stuck in procurement hell. These jets are needed now, not for prestige, but for presence. Segment 4. The hidden strategy behind the contract signing. On June 3, 2025, Korean officials from Korea Aerospace Industries were seen entering Camp Aguinaldo. The next day, Korean news sources confirmed what we suspected. A contract had been signed for the acquisition of 12 new FA-50 aircraft by the Philippine government. This wasn't just a business transaction. It was a message. A message that says, the Philippines is doubling down on its existing fighter doctrine. The defense partnership with South Korea is stronger than ever. The Air Force is scaling up capability strategically, not emotionally. This isn't about choosing FA-50s instead of MRFs. It's about ensuring that when MRFs do arrive, they won't fly alone. They'll enter a force that's already combat capable, well-trained, and operationally integrated. Segment 5. Force pairing. What most analysts miss. Here's where the real strategy begins. In the future, the Philippine Air Force will not rely solely on one type of aircraft. Instead, it will build a multi-layered fighter structure. FA-50s will handle patrol, interdiction, and short-range strike. MRFs like the F-16 or Gripen will handle air superiority and long-range engagement. AWNC and ISR assets will provide targeting and command support. Think of the FA-50 as the fast, affordable wingman, multiplying the effectiveness of every MRF in the sky. In NATO exercises, we've seen exactly this kind of coordination. Light fighters acting as bait, sensors, or missile trucks supporting more advanced jets. This is where the FA-50 becomes a force multiplier, not a replacement. Segment 6. The South China Sea battlefield, where the FA-50 will fight. Let's talk worst-case scenario, a limited conflict in the West Philippine Sea. In this environment, long-range stealth fighters are helpful, but so are fast deployable strike aircraft jets that can operate from forward airfields like Palawan platforms capable of delivering standoff munitions from range. The FA-50 fits perfectly into this role. Future upgrades may include precision-guided bombs, DAMs, KGGBs, anti-ship missiles, AGM-65, or Korean equivalents, potential ASA radar enhancements. With 24 FA-50s, 2 full squadrons, the Air Force can maintain persistent coverage of our maritime domain. And when warfighters launch from Basa, Zamboanga, or Puerto Princesa, they'll do so in formation, not in isolation. Segment 7. Industrial integration, preparing for defense self-reliance. Here's something you won't hear in press releases. This deal with KI opens the door to industrial cooperation. Possibilities include Korean support hubs in the Philippines, joint training facilities, long-term maintenance contracts with Filipino technicians, and eventually, component manufacturing for the wider KI ecosystem. This is in line with President Marcos's push for a self-reliant defense posture, SRP, where the Philippines no longer depends entirely on foreign contractors for spare parts, upgrades, and servicing. These 12 aircraft aren't just flying assets. They're leveraged to expand our role in the Asian defense economy. Segment 8. The Doctrinal Leap from 12 to 24 and beyond. When the first 12 FA-50s arrived, they formed a single transitional squadron. With this new order, the PAF can now maintain one full combat squadron, keep one full training, and reserve squadron rotate jets for maintenance without losing combat readiness. This changes everything. It allows 24/7 air patrol coverage in sensitive areas, deployment of jets to multiple bases simultaneously, better rotation and sustainability in long-duration conflicts. More importantly, it sends a signal to both allies and adversaries that the Philippine Air Force is no longer in its infancy. We are flying, we are training, we are preparing. Final thoughts: why this deal makes strategic sense. So what does $40 billion really buy us? Not just 12 jets. It buys time to wait for MRFs while staying mission-ready, presence to deter aggression while diplomacy works, training to prepare the next generation of fighter pilot, strategy to build a credible, tiered air defense force, and sovereignty, not just in name, but in air power. It's not a perfect solution, but it is a realistic, strategic, and nationalistic one. If you've made it this far, you understand the importance of thinking beyond the headlines. This FA-50 deal isn't just about jets. It's about Philippine power projection. It's about deterrence. And most of all, it's about building a legacy of readiness. If you value defense insights like these, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. At Pinoy Guard, we give you the full picture with truth, depth, and patriotism. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay proud.